Okay, you guys want to talk a little bit about some of the styling features of the car and maybe some of the inspiration for, I'm seeing some current and past Honda models here.
The theme of the car, the first thing that stands out is the proportion where the cab is very far, the glass is very far forward. And beyond that, some more of the subtle things, you have these lines that run through the top of the roof, through the hood. We've accented by painting the roof and the hood black, and that continues. It's a brake line into the bumper, and that's a strong theme that brings your eye over the car.
I see a little bit of the TL hood cut angle there. Is that what would you agree with that?
Yeah, there's a lot of family resemblance in there, and some of the form language around the back of the car is very CL. It reminds you of a CL.
It's clean. I mean, yeah. I think that, you know, it's still not an Acura, but I think it's so clean that it feels Honda-ish, especially compared to the last Civic. I think it's much more modern, there's not a lot of superfluous like lines and things like that. So that's probably why you're feeling Acura out of it, because Acura absolutely should be that direction. But I think this still has some peppiness and not as aggressive, but still feels sporty.
It's definitely one of the most distinctive coupes we've done in a long time, and in an attractive way. It's very good. Some of the other tricks that we do to plant the car on the ground, this has a really strong theme of this line that wraps around the entire bottom of the car. It starts just above the fog light, continues through the door, and all the way around the back. And that's kind of the second theme of this car. But that really plants the car on the ground.
I think also with the tuner crowd, it's done tastefully, I guess. That's why you think it feels more expensive. All the cladding I'm talking about. And I think that's, if you can unify that and line it up from a designer standpoint, it makes all the difference. And the car feels right when you do that. When you end up with a lot of mismatches, it doesn't feel as expensive or as nicely done. So.
Right. It just made me think of one thing. The center mounted exhaust, there's pretty much zero chance of seeing that in production, right?
Zero chance. Zero chance.
I concur.
Okay, yeah, that was the assumption, but you know, people are asking anyway, so had to ask that.
The door handles, John wanted to talk about. Did he talk about the door handles?
No, we didn't ask him about the door handles. This concept has no door handles, but that's not going to see production either.
No.
Look for a more civic way of getting in the car to be expected.
More civic-minded, absolutely.
Assuming plastic door handles there. Okay. The Civic Si concept here features horizontally opposed wipers. And you could, if you just look at the cowl, you see the hinges are right there at the corners. Is this also something we'll see in production?
Yep, that's just as you'll see it.
The cab forward feeling, you get a bigger windshield. You need to wipe the windshield.
So that's the reason for mounting them at the edges to get
better coverage that way.
Okay, I didn't know if there was purely for some sort of styling statement or.
It actually looks good styling wise. So that's unintentional, of course. We're more functional, but it does look good this way, I think.
It's always nice to have something that you can see from the driver's perspective that reminds you of the outside of the car. A Porsche always has the fender blisters. You know you're driving a Porsche or a Viper. And the S2000 is another example. You always know you're driving an S2000. You're reminded of it. And something that you see on the outside of the car as you're driving, like on the Civic Si, that's another detail that it reminds you, and you kind of enjoy the driving experience a little bit more.
I think the thing is with the cowl area, and it's a small thing, but from a designer standpoint, you know, we've usually never paid that much attention to that area. And
on concept cars, we always do.
And the production car just goes off to its feasibility or something like that. And I think this car is finally doing some details in the cowl that make us happier. It's like, yeah, why not do it? You know, you can do it just as well as the other way. So I think that's when people look at the car, the production car, it'll be details like that they'll say, wow, this is really nice. You may not know why, but that's one of the things that'll do it. The trim around the mirror, things like that are actually designed, not just stuck on there. I think that's part of the car. That's why you feel the more expensive feeling.
Right. Another thing about the face of the car, the headlight detailing inside, you might need to get a good look at it, but that's something that's very special to this car as well.
Yeah, that was actually my next question too. So you guys are one step ahead of me. Yeah, it does, and it has a little bit of an eyelid effect with the fender curving over the top of the enclosure.
That could help your TL feel too, because the long, thin.
Yeah, TL, TSX, and then yeah, it seems like I'm trying to think if the Japanese Odyssey has similar.
Yeah.
Yeah, as
Where it
the
wraps into this way.
yeah. Okay. So is that part of the influence?
Yeah, it's the design language that goes throughout the company. A lot of elements get shared, so you always feel it as a Honda product.